I'm getting ready to talk about something that's very, very precious to me, and that's the tithe. At a very young age, roughly around 13, I had a very defining moment in my life where I had to decide whether I was going to tithe or not. And I told the Lord, I said, Lord, I am not going to be a person who just drops money in the offering and, that's it. If you want me to tithe, show me the purpose behind it, and I'll do it. So he led me to Genesis 14, 18 through 20. And Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought out bread and wine, and he was the priest of God Most High. And he blessed him and said, "Blessed be Abram, Most High, possessor of heaven and earth. And he blessed be God Most High, who has delivered your enemies into your hands, and gave you the tithe of all." And he gave tithe of all. Shortly after I made that confession to the Lord that I would tithe, I was attending a local Assembly of God church at that time, and they had a traveling evangelist teach that night, and he taught for an hour and a half on these two verses. And I got such a revelation about tithing, how the tithe wasn't about the money. It was about giving honor and glory to the Lord. And when you understand that, it's easy to tithe. And after the service was over, I got to meet a gentleman, a friend who I'd known for quite some time. He was an extremely wealthy businessman. And he was known not for his wealth, but for his giving. And he was a very unique man. And I caught him alone after the service that night. And I said, "Brother Jesse, can I have a few minutes? I want to ask you a question. Something personal. If you don't want to answer, don't." And he said, "Well, what is it, son?" He said, "I want to ask you about the tithing. What makes you want to tithe?" He said, "Oh, son," he said, "I love God so much, I can't help but do it." He said, "I understand that he has given me great possessions, but I understand he could give them to somebody else just as easy." He said, "I am so thankful that I'm blessed not only with finances, with money, but also with family, friends, a church." He said, "I just can't help but give praise and glory to the Lord through my tithe." And after that, he said, "I have a few more pointers I'd like to just give you a few words of wisdom." He said, "When you start out in life like you are in the world of finances," he said, "son, it'd do you good not to rob God." He said, "Not only that, when you tithe and not rob God, you're starting to walk with integrity." He said, "With integrity and honor, you'll go a long ways in life." After that, he went on to say, "When I tithe, I write out this check." He said, well, let me back up just a minute. He said, "When I go to the bank and make the bank deposits," he said, "some of them are quite large." He said, "I get so excited, that God has blessed me." He said, "When I write out the check, I get just as excited when I pay my tithe." He taught me so much about how to give. And my wife and I, we have this saying all the time: the tithe is the covenant connector. And when you have the tithe and that connection, he will deliver you from your enemies. And one other thing he said, and I'll quit with this. He said, "You'll never go wrong with tithing because it's the right thing to do." Thank you.